And we're live. Okay, everyone. So I am putting the link in the chat again. And this is the last after party. We will be having a wrap-up video, but this is the last after party. So please come in. I'm just going to send a text. Okay, so one of the things that I loved about my discussion with Nalo Hopkinson was, first of all, I'm very proud of myself for not completely losing it, because I was just like, literally just wanted to be like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Which I did a bit at the beginning, but we calmed down. It was good. We gathered ourselves. But I think, a talented speculative fiction writer is constantly aware of what's going on in the world and constantly in a state of what if. And I think Nalo debunked a lot of things in our discussion. One, that science fiction is, I should have drilled down a little bit on her comment that science fiction is prophetic. I would have liked to hear more of what she had to say in that regard. But, debunking the myth that just because your books have done well and that you're popular and that you won awards doesn't mean you're going to sell your books all the time. Debunking the myth that, the writing life is a consistently luxurious life. Debunking the myth that writing is easy for her. Her commitment to truth telling and to the telling of multiple truths is so important. And I think for those of you who haven't read any of Nalo's work, judging you only slightly, but still, but her stories reflect that realism. And in every single story, she takes up oppressions, misunderstandings, harmful ways of being. Like, she looks the darkness of our existence, the shadow side of our existence. She looks at all of that and confronts it very powerfully. And when I talk about the darkness, I'm not talking about dark as in bad. I'm talking about dark as in like the hidden parts of ourselves and society, but also the parts of ourselves that have so much potential. She's absolutely incredible. And I'm so blessed that we were able to end the Written with Purpose series with her. All right, so if you're in the chat, just say hi. We've got some work. Lord have mercy. Also, Chloe's video was phenomenal. Hi, Salter. Lord have mercy. And hi, Tomi, and hi, Tomi again, and thank you. And Tati, you're coming. Yay! I'm very excited about that. LP, get to a desktop or laptop.
I was going to start twisting my hair, but I stopped and put it back up in this bun so that we can have a conversation.
That is true friendship. Yeah, say more about that, Kat G. I'd love to hear your thoughts here. But yeah, I liked how she talked about SFF as accessible. You're fine. Hi, Porcupine Burrows. You have Falling in Love with Hominids as your profile picture. Did you love that book? Who are you? Tell me things. Welcome. Yes, thank you, Jersey fam. Come into the chat. You're all welcome.
Come join the party. I just want to say, while we're waiting for other people to join us, that you did such a great job on the series. Like, I know that I was like aware that you were working hard on a project. I'm very clear that I was there, but
I know.
to see it all come together, like I was like, my friend did this, like she put it together. I also want to know what's going to go with Tati, but it's cool.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
It's like, Hugo. I'm going to start getting real petty. Like, I need to figure out who I need to start subtweeting.
Yeah, it was, I'm glad that was mentioned. Yes. It's just goals. Like last year, I didn't even know, and I honestly need to look into it. Like I didn't even know what award fan casts, or like I don't even know what the award necessarily would be, but I was just like, I'm out here doing a thing, and why not? I
mean, I don't know if there are other awards, but I mean, we can find out. Why not?
Yes,
we've got time.
We do it for the love of science fiction and fantasy, but hey, awards are great. So Nalo, we are going to have an opportunity to sort of debrief the entire series. But Nalo, right? Like I loved this interview, was very, very, very unique because, Nalo is Nalo, and we weren't necessarily focusing on like writing that she's doing right now, although we did talk about Blackheart Man, which sounds amazing, which I can't wait to read. But I loved just hearing her talk about science fiction as an instrument.
Yeah.
And as a way, like when she said like science fiction has already worked hard to prepare us for the challenges of life. We know how to deal with pandemics. Those of us who've been reading.
Like, do we, Nalo? Because I read books and I'm not prepared.
No, we were still not prepared. How many times have I read Parable of the Sower?
So, but you know what?
I don't even have a fucking bag. Well, no, I don't.
And is that science fiction's fault, though?
No, it's not. It's absolutely not. But but that's what I'm saying, though. Like, yes, we've read science fiction, but that doesn't mean
we've done science fiction.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're reading it. What are you drinking? But we're not doing it. And she basically just told me that I need to start doing it better. And I was like, yes, ma'am.
I just got told this is what I'm drinking. It's called Toro Bravo. And so I live in Ontario, and in Canada, you can't just have liquor like sold everywhere. So we have like regulated distribution of alcohol at a store called the LCBO, the Liquor Control Board of Ontario Stores.
We have the ABC board in some states in Virginia.
That's right. So there's this book.
I mean, some states in Virginia.
Some states in Virginia. Oh, you're far gone. We're good. I was gonna let that.
I haven't had anything to drink yet.
I was gonna assume. I was like, when you said Jack,
started maybe a little bit. But there was this magazine a couple of I think it was a couple of months ago. Tony's like giving me love eyes. I love it. And it this bottle, not this one, but the smaller version, was on sale for $8.50. And one of our national newspapers wine critics said, I cannot believe that an $8 bottle of wine is this high quality. And that article came out, like, let's say on a Thursday. And by the Friday, all LCBOs were sold out of this wine for weeks. So now that the hype is over, I look for it whenever I see it. So it's basically cheap wine, but highly acclaimed. It's a Portuguese red. It might even be a blended. Is it Portuguese? It's in the Portuguese. Yes, Portuguese. It's a Merlot. No, Tempranillo Merlot. So that's what I'm drinking slowly.
I feel like at some point when we have our book discussions and we're talking about authors and stuff, we need to like match beverages. with them.
What's the match? Because I haven't had anything yet. Let's make this a thing. What's the match for Nalo?
I don't have alcohol, but sure, let's do this.
I do. I got you.
Okay.
I will drink for you, boo.
I feel like Nalo, I don't know what's in your cabinet at the moment, but
I have dark rum, coconut rum, peach whiskey,
Ooh.
apple crown. Do I have
Ooh.
regular crown?
Here I am just looking for
I'm out of
peach.
vodka. I have wine. I have red wine.
So Nalo deserves dark rum. I think that speaks to like her themes in all of her books. So this is definitely a dark rum situation. And then maybe some kind of, I would mix a dark rum with a fruit and a juice.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, it has to have some kind of fruit or fruit juice.
I wish I had pineapple juice because that dark rum that I
that
have
would be
goes
nice.
really well with pineapple juice. But I do have orange juice. I also have root beer. It goes really well with root beer and a dash of grenadine.
Root beer is not saying Nalo to me.
Okay, then no root beer.
Although Nalo does get to the root of like our culture and race, and I feel like
all right,
get there.
Look at the connection.
And she has a book called Whispers from the Cotton Tree Root. Yes, LP. Yes. Look,
oh my gosh.
LP, are you on Instagram? Because you have restaurant experience with. I am all for this, sir. Nalo gives me whiskey vibes. Okay.
I'm loving the fact that this idea is like so heavily
let's make
by
it
everybody.
happen.
Everybody's like, we should totally do this.
Ooh, wait. What is in a dark and stormy?
A dark and stormy is ginger beer. Oh, and
I don't have ginger beer.
So Nalo and Nisi wrote a short story for Stories for Chip that was based off of ginger. What was it? Ginger. Oh, it's right there. Anyway, ginger would be good too.
Yeah, I don't have ginger anything. I don't even have ginger.
You gotta go. Ale. You gotta go get it. Come back. I'm just kidding.
I am. Okay, hold on. Not hold on.
What? Here. While we finish discussing Nalo, you are on a mission to go to your cabinet and create a drink.
Make it work
with what you have inspired by Nalo. Go.
Okay.
I love this.
She said bet and clicked the camera right up.
Say less. Yes, I love LP. Also, get to a laptop.
You know, I was blessed to meet LP through Njeri, obviously, because, you know, Njeri. So I'm not surprised that he also is out here like, oh, well, I have plenty of options for you. Here are some ideas.
LP is perfection. Perfection. Okay, so let's see what folks are saying. Okay, so question for the chat. Reflect on something that Nalo said in the interview that has you thinking, right? And if you have read any of Nalo's work, what is your favorite of her works? And if you haven't, where do you think you would start? Or would you like a recommendation? And if you would like a recommendation, then tell me what you like to read. And then I would be happy to recommend something from her collection of works.
You actually recommended me was it Midnight Robber?
I think Midnight Robber would be very good.
I think that's the one you recommended for me because I think that's one of the ones on my shelf it's on my to be read soon shelf.
Yeah.
I have different shelves for different purposes.
Sure.
And it's like the 5th or 6th one on there.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I think that's the one for me. I haven't read it yet, but
I will say that a very close second recommendation for you is Sister Mine. And the more I think about it, no, Midnight Robber is a very good one for you, I think. But I think you would really appreciate Sister Mine as well.
Mm-hmm.
The more I get to know you, the more I'm like, yeah, you'd really appreciate Sister Mine. You'd also appreciate the chaos.
Porcupine Burrows says Sister Mine is my fave novel. and Falling in Love with Hominids is my favorite short story collection.
I have Falling in Love with Hominids that I got from the library. I have Sister Mine upstairs.
I just can't get over the cover of that one. Like the cover of that one is very inspirational for me when I think about book covers and makeup. Okay, what did you make? Because
so really what I did, because taking the fruit juice, I'm really mad that I don't have any pineapple juice. Like that's a normal thing in my house, so I'm really upset. But I have a four port rum that is it's made by a local distillery. And this it's very strong.
Perfect.
But it can also have like a bitter edge if you drink it too fast. And I thought that was really indicative of the work of Nalo Hopkinson, because if you read it too fast or don't read it to learn something, that shit can get real bitter and fuck you up real quick. And then for the sweetness of it, I added a dash. Okay, so it's like 4 ounces of rum and maybe 1.5 ounces of orange juice.
Those proportions are good.
Just to sweeten it a little bit, to cut that bitter edge just a little bit.
We're not here for full escapism, right?
Yes.
So I love that. Nalo. Great. You heard it here first. We have created the Nalo.
The Nalo. Brought to you by Musical Tati.
Inspired by Melon and Eclectic.
There you go.
Okay.
Inspired by.
Presented on Onyx Pages.
Okay, featured on Onyx Pages. So easy to give credit. Damn, that spelled so smooth.
Oh. I love it.
The breeze under the shade. Oh my gosh.
So let's see. So Porcupine, Sister Mine is my fave novel, and Falling in Love with Hominids is my fave short story. So collection. Yes. So do you want to talk about it? Also, do you want to join us?
I'm adding Sister Mine to my book list.
Because I have Sister Mine upstairs, and it was on my list to read last year.
Yeah.
And I think when I was going to read that was around the time when I realized that my mental state was out of jurisdiction.
Relaxing somewhere else.
And so my reading took a nosedive. And my reading's in the same position this year, but I am excited to read things. It's just the motivation that's missing. So yeah.
Question for you. Are we seeing you at DisCon?
I am not going to DisCon. I didn't know DisCon was a thing, LP, until you mentioned it. I am not a convention goer under normal, regular circumstances. I am a homebody who does and go.
I know. I was like, that's Oshale.
Who goes and does things with friends, but I can come to DC. I have me and my bestie can hit the road and come to DC because I need edibles.
That whispering on a recorded live stream.
It's legal here now. It's decriminalized here now.
Then you didn't have to whisper.
So I didn't have to whisper.
You didn't. So you should come. You should definitely come.
Wait, you're saying come. Are you going to be there?
I'm pretty much going.
I can go downstairs, but if you're able
what?
Barring, we talked about this. Barring any COVID-19 related disaster beyond the already existing disaster.
Beyond the existing disaster.
Yeah, I'll be going to Worldcon. Yeah, I got my ticket December of 2020.
Wait, is Worldcon is in DC?
Yeah, it is this year.
How did I miss that?
It's easy to not be connected to science fiction community proper. Yeah, it's easy.
How did I miss? I've never done a book convention. I didn't even know about Worldcon until joining BookTube, and then all of the Worldcons were passport fly over a whole bunch of fucking water places. So
yeah. Well, it was in Iceland. It was supposed to be in Iceland, or was in Iceland, and it's supposed to be in Australia. Like, there's a lot of different places, but this is, I think, every LP helped me. Every 3 years, it's in DC. Like, it's DC is like a regular sort of anchor point at different times, I think. But bye, babe. So,
hi, Tommy.
Yeah, she's getting our food. Yeah. So SOULar, who's a writer, and also who should come in the chat, because yes, I'm being a little aggressive today. She got into people pulling back from reverse engineering work they see brilliance or new skills they want to attain. And I totally know the value of doing that work and seeing people who refuse. By she, you're talking about Nalo.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I'm also very excited about her teaching,
I am envious. It's like when Bernice L. McFadden released that she was going to be teaching at whatever the college is that she's teaching at in Louisiana. And I was like, I just want to go to school again. I am envious of those who get to be under her tutelage for a semester or longer. Like, how many classes did she teach? Are there levels to this shit? Like, they can multiple times under Nalo as educator.
But you know what? I'd fail the class. Honestly, I'd probably fail because I would just.
But you would be there. Who cares if you fail?
I'd be losing it. I'd be losing it.
It's a 1 semester class, 3 credit hours. How much money is that these days? It was $175 a credit hour when I was in school. Things have definitely changed. But we got that times 3. We got that. Fail if you want.
I love
that degree. You good. This is for Nalo and Nalo only.
That's true. I'll just be like, I'll just be here swooning. Thanks. LP, are you asking Tatiana? Who are you asking?
I mean, you said you bought your ticket, so I think the question is for me. I think that is very plausible. It depends on, we need to talk about dates because I have something coming up. So yeah. It depends on when it is, as long as it doesn't conflict.
And if it does, that other thing can get rescheduled.
It really can't. It's been rescheduled. I cannot believe you just said
that. So correct. She's
tired of this heifer being pending. I'm ready.
She spoke of seeing a student make a story work that shouldn't work based on first blush and breaking their work down to figure it out for herself as well. I think that's the beauty of being a technician of the written word. And knowing and having such an in-depth understanding of writing that you can do that. Like speaking to her about writing is she's an expert. She's a subject matter expert. And so that's the beauty of it. It's kind of like when you talk to somebody who's musically trained and has perfect pitch, they can break down, a song or a movement and tell you exactly what's happening. And the fact that she's still fascinated by the work and inspired by new writers, it's just amazing. Because sometimes, expert writers are really self-focused. And I don't mean self-centered in a negative way. I mean, they're dedicated to their own craft. I think it's a whole other element of talent to be able to direct that outward and to encourage people, right? To move forward and to hone what that special je ne sais quoi is within them, right? And that's what I love about her. She's really committed to legacy, and there's a whole bunch of writers who are learning from her who are going to be creating amazing things just because she said that was good. Don't know how to help.
Oh my gosh, you lucky so-and-sos.
What's that?
You lucky so-and-sos.
Yeah, it's
New
great.
writers.
I'm sure we could audit her class if we asked and paid. Yeah. So other thoughts. Let's see. Yeah, SOULar, you said the gap between what she is primed to teach versus the struggle with composition and grammar. Yeah, some students are presenting with, also her coming into teaching without a background in teaching itself. And you know what? I'd argue that she does have a background in teaching, maybe not formally so, but I definitely, yeah, I hear that. And then doing that within like the formal, within the academy, right? Which is like a whole nother world.
And as someone who does have a degree in education, what the degree in education really prepares you for outside of learning what whatever your subject matter is, the education courses that you teach really just teach you how to understand and deal with people whose experiences are different from yours. That's my simplified way of summing it down. And to relate to them on a level where they feel like they're being heard and understood while yet maintaining order. And anybody who is progressive and useful in society in this day and age should be able to do that. Not, I mean, so like literally anybody can teach. And as someone who's been in this literary business as long as she's been in this literary business, I don't think the missing teaching background is going to be an issue. I don't think Bernice L. McFadden has a background in education. Like I remember we had a composer who did a residency at my college, and he didn't have a background in education. I think that's a whole nother tangent. Never mind.
Okay. So, I have a question about it's not about Nalo, and it's not about Nalo's writing. Although if there's anybody here who wants a recommendation or wants to talk about something that they've read from Nalo, please do so. But I guess I want to talk about the planner again as a sort of final shout out before we select our winners, which is not going to happen today. So I want to talk about that a little bit, and not only like about the planner, but I also, Brittany, I'm going to give you some time to sort of like reflect on this. But I want to talk about the planner not only as like a tool for us to like think about content creation, or a tool to think about our reading and so on. But I kind of want to marry the reflection question to the planner. So the reflection question is about like, what is something that you want to bring into fruition that you think we really need right now, right? Like what is something you want to bring to life? Now, I know, because I know you, that the planner existed in the ether before it existed in person, and that you had a plan and you brought it to fruition. And now we have it and we all get to be blessed by it. I also, in my experience of using your planner, it has actually like inspired me to create a separate space for reading, for content creation, which has also helped me do things like, it's the place where I developed the Cowrie Shelf 3.0 that I'll be talking about at some point, the new review system. It's a place where I wrote down like, yes, it's a place where I first wrote down like author series, and like I use the planner to kind of like make a list of like who I'd love to interview, right?
Are you saying you used my planner to like call this series into
Yes,
creation?
I did.
I'm pretty satisfied with what the planner did then.
Yeah. If you look at one of my Plan With Me videos, I actually covered the page that I had like all this stuff on, because I was
wow.
Before it gets stolen, let me just like bring it into the world. And so, yeah, so like, the planner as a tool for creative visualization. So just like let that marinate. But yeah, I just wonder how does, for those of you who like watched all of the interviews or many of them, how do you see, like, where do you see points of connection between the things that Nalo has had to say and some of the things that the debut author said? Because like here we have somebody who's been writing for 30 years and now teaching, who's like in the game, has been in it for a long time. But we also have people who like LaSalle, who like just did a thing, right? And CL Clark debut, right? And so just wondering if you saw like points of connection there.
I'm trying to go back and think about all 10 interviews.
Yeah. And you know, I missed some, I intentionally missed some parts because
spoilers.
I do think like LaSalle, when LaSalle talked about thinking 2 beats ahead, just 2 steps ahead in order to engage, to create a world that was near future, not giving away any spoilers, but just like the idea of not going too far into the future, but staying recognizable, right? But still thinking, you know, well, what if, or where are we headed, right? If we stay on this track, where will we be in 6 years? Not 50, but 6 or 4, right? That's something really interesting to me, because when Nalo was talking about pandemics and like they're not new for us, we've always been talking about them or writing them. You know, that got me thinking about, Parable of the Sower, Parable of the Talents, but also Brown Girl in the Ring.
Yeah.
I can't speak from an author standpoint because, you know, that's just not my calling. But there's a correlation to the way that sci-fi is written and the way that a business that I have is run, in the sense of when you're writing, when they write, they talk about how how they kind of write in the future, but they write in a future that's probable. Same thing with trying to plan out a planner. It's like, I have the idea, it sounds great, but is this something that somebody's going to be using for next year? Because you don't create a planner and release it in the same year. You create a planner with the intention of it being sold for a future year. So every time I plan a planner, it's like the planner, the 2022 planner, I started working on it last year. So like October of 2020, I started working on it. So that's a whole year and some change before it even comes out, before you even think to use it. And not only that, but I'm trying to think of what would be the most common way for somebody to receive the product, which is the way that our authors, when they're writing, it's like, how do they want to convey the story to everyone else?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not writing a story, but I am I'm not writing a story, I'm making a story, and I want everybody to read it, but I don't necessarily need you all to read it the same way. I just need you all to want to read it at the same time, because that's how I make my money. Ooh, tie-in.
Yeah, no, and I think
that was really good. I don't think I could have done that.
That's just Black excellence. That's just bask in it. You know, and I feel like that there are lots of different applications of that, because that's, you described futurism, right? Like you described the exercise of imagining what people in the future are going to need and then creating from that place in the present. And whatever, and for me, as like a futurist, I think about that in my legal practice. I think about what kind of school systems we're going to need, what kind of employment contracts we're going to need. Like we are engaged in creating the future all the time. Yeah. I think most times we just forget or don't pay attention to it. But that's super, super powerful. And if we could, that's why I talk about like imagining on purpose, right? Like if you could be purposeful about the things that you imagine, we would have more influence over change than we actually think we do. And that for me, that's the power and the magic of speculative fiction. SOULar, you were saying they each seem to speak to a different way of engaging with other writers, be it as teachers, aspiring authors, writing retreats, etc. Yeah, that's true. And also Eugen running up on other writers to co-author, with her in a prolific way. I'm really moved by Eugen's work with other writers. I think that's really unique to Eugen's practice. I haven't seen
I love that idea
as often. Yeah.
That collaboration idea.
Yeah. And the way she's like talking about it even being like a little romantic. Like, I was just like,
she almost made it seem like that's something that like everybody did. And it's like, no, that's not what everyone does. Nope. You seem to be the only one doing this. Yep.
Yep. And there's a talent. It's a talent too, right? Because you have to be able to yield and receive in order to do that. It is a bit of a dance, and not everybody.
Is Tommy throwing shade? Is that what you just looked at?
She's not throwing shade. She's just like doing this with her eyebrows. But you need to be able to yield and to receive. It's a dance, right? To do that. Okay, so yes, I see you nodding. They know that you're not. Yeah, she has to be a wildly charismatic muse, because writers are always fighting fear, and she's bold and gets it done. Yeah, and does a PhD in 2.5 years.
Yeah, with a kid and a whole job.
She's amazing. So, Tati, any thoughts before we like kind of wrap up?
Just that I have something really like neat to say last night, and it's not in my head anymore. But
I just called you to say I can't call you. Yeah. I just came to say I can't come.
just to say, like, to piggyback off of what Brittany said, this has been excellent. And I don't know what I expected.
Neither did I.
When you shared that you were doing this and you posted the schedule and everything, I don't know what I expected, but this blew my expectations out of the water. Like, I went into this knowing a couple of the authors with the mindset that, I was going to read their books eventually, like we do with a lot of books that we purchase. But I was going to get them from the library. I ordered 2 of them bitches last night.
Yeah, I got 3 books from the library, and I'm currently looking at my Amazon cart right now, and I'm just like,
girl, just press buy now. Just finish order, complete order, whatever the hell it says. I don't even know. I'll be clicking so fast.
It says 8 books right now, and I'm just like, dang it. But I can't help it, so it's fine.
Yeah. So
I told you, there's like could literally make a sticker that said, and Jerry told me to buy this, and it would probably sell the same way that the planner sells, because
it's in Jerry's fault.
Oh yeah. And Jerry's fault could totally, like, that's what my budget will say on this little ad in that I put, and it'll be like the description. It's in Jerry's fault.
Yes. I'll take it. I'll take it.
But yeah, this has been phenomenal. And as you have done this series, that's what it was. Ha! As you have done this series, written with purpose, off of your phrase, your catchphrase, your coin phrase of read with purpose, it would be great if those of us who give a damn about Black SFF and the work and implications and beauty of it, that we would take those things and live with purpose.
Wow. Okay, sis. Not to mention, since this is like, and Jerry loves to just like amp up all of us, but when we try to amp up her, she feels like she ain't got enough time, so she's gonna try to rush us off. So before she rushes us off,
oh my God,
this is also just a nod to Njeri and her lovely wife Tomi, because they are like the unspoken sponsors the utmost cheerleaders of Melanin Eclectic. For y'all who don't know yet, which I don't know how you don't know yet. It's like, yeah, you do all of these things, but you think about so much when you do a project. Like your project incorporated 2 or 3 different businesses just casually in there. The affirmation cards, my planner. You shouted out the place where you did the work.
Tony's work.
Okay. Like the way that you do projects, there's a level of excellence that I feel like if more of us took that kind of care in our content, we'd probably be producing better content.
Or it would be a bigger and better community.
A community that collabs.
Community-minded. Yes.
A community that collabs instead of steals.
I'm gonna shut the fuck up and drink this Nalo.
Cheers.
It's empty, but I'll take it.
But yeah, I think you did a fantastic job. I don't know what you're doing next, but
we know that there's a motherfucking next.
There's a next.
There's a next.
And it's also pleasurable, right? Like I think Adrienne Maree Brown in Pleasure Activism talks about the fact that like our work needs to feel good and that we can find like pleasure. Like when we think about, like when I think about like, this, just like the 3 of us talking, everybody in the chat, the people are going to watch later, like that's pleasurable. My mom always said, if you do the work with love, you don't feel the pain, right? And I feel, so I'm a pleasure seeker. I'm always looking for like what makes me feel good, what's interesting. Let's get more of that. Let's get less of the stuff that doesn't feel good. And so like reading feels, and like if you look at the things that I've done, right? Like having SOULar Powered, that grew out of a desire to read things that brought me pleasure. And then doing it with other people came out of a desire of the fact that I love to blurt out with other people, right? Mm-hmm. And like Onyx Pages came out of the fact that I didn't experience pleasure reading like dry content that didn't think about me. So I wanted to read better work with other people, right? Like,
right.
And then like the after party grew out of the fact that I experience pleasure when I am talking, like doing something like this. Like I never planned to have a Written with Purpose after party, right?
That is true.
It came out of that. So like I'm effective.
Spontaneous.
Also, how dare you not add in Quarantine Pages to your list of accolades in the past 2 years?
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
How even dare you?
That's true. And that came out of me being like, I am not going through a pandemic without like regular access to nerds.
And the OEB slow read.
You just
and that came out of me being like,
you be forgetting shit. Like you be forgetting shit you're currently in.
Years. That's literally in the past 2 years. You have done more in the sci-fi fantasy community than most people have done at 0.5 speed on a reading scale.
I felt that in my spirit. So thank you. And also like just thank you for being here with it and and for being a part of my like community and for recognizing it. It really means a lot to me. And it's also very fun. Like super, super fun.
Yeah.
Super fun.
We have fun.
Yeah.
We have a lot.
And I'm glad that it's fun for you because to me it's like this is a lot of work that Njeri is doing behind the scenes. And so it's also great to see the reception from your hard work because this is hours of preparation and communication and editing and getting things together, getting the resources together to present forward. Yeah, what you wanted this to be. So I am glad that it's gone over and been received so well and that it will live on YouTube in perpetuity. And when people say, I'm going to do this, we can say, Njeri did it.
Boy, I'm gonna be in them comments quick. Inspired by, written with purpose.
I ain't gonna be in them comments. I don't need to be in the comments to lift up Njeri. Because they
also be on Twitter. Inspired by.
No, fuck with Twitter.
And I already just like you know how you always have, Brittany, a list of like you already have your list for the 2023 planner and things you're gonna do differently and whatever. I have my list for Written with Purpose next year, and the idea of a booktubementary and like what that's gonna look like, you know.
First year list of like the things that I want to change from last year's planner to this year's planner, it was like 3 pages thick of like the mistakes, the things that I wanted to do better, like the things that I wanted to do. So I can't wait for next year because, you know, Planner 1.0 was phenomenal. Planner 2.0 is a whole story, which I just realized Planner 2.0 is very much speculative.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
I realized the story.
Your planner is a work of speculative fiction.
That's hilarious.
No, yes, what's hilarious is that you just realized that shit.
Behind that door is the art wall where I wrote the story out. So I had to they're just gonna see a dirty closet because I can't share the story.
Yeah, no. I just want to read out what Porcupine Burrows says. It's always lovely to see daughters of the diaspora glowing up together. Right?
Nalo, diaspora. We sound real pretty right now.
We are.
Right? I love that. When I saw it, I was like, don't squeal.
I claim it. Nalo put me on to N.K. Jemisin and Karen Lord, and Onyx put me on to Melanin Eclectic and Musical Tati, which is like, we got you. Series is wonderful. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. And then Salter's going to be howling, but why? I'm going to be howling in those comments like, don't you get your video flagged and put on mute for stealing the soundtrack?
Listen, I'm just going to copy and paste that into my notes.
I need you to change your name so that the salt is all caps. Because that was awesome.
Yeah, we're retiring the EA for now.
It's for regurgitation purposes.
That's amazing.
I'm going to be real petty.
In terms of next steps, we are going to have one last broadcast for the Written with Purpose series. It's going to be our wrap up. You know, when you go to when there's an art exhibit, there's like an opening party and then there's a closing party. We're going to have a closing party. Tommy's going to be participating. You both are going to be there because it's not optional. LP is going to be there.
I felt that. Woo.
Right? And we're going to draw the names or announce the winners.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're going to announce the winners and get that moving. And then, you know, people are obviously, you know, going to be in the chats and so on. So we will announce. We just have to arrange schedules and so on. And yeah, it's going to be a great time. And then that's going to be the official end of, you know, the first cycle of Written with Purpose. The first of many cycles.
The first annual or the inaugural.
The inaugural.
Oh, wait, that's backwards on the screen.
Yes.
1.0.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so anything else? If you're watching
to enter into this
that's right,
giveaway, because we are officially the last week of planner pre-order. And yeah, there will be some planners left over, but I mean, if you could get it for free, why not get it for free?
Agreed. So,
where are you on? Let me ask a whole ass business question on the internet. Where are you as far as bundles go? How many bundles are left?
I knew you were gonna ask me that. Like, I picked up my phone earlier and I was like, Tati not gonna put me on the spot like that. Like, she knows she not. Nope, Tati did.
And here we are. So
because even with winning the planner, and you want to win the planner, you are winning are they winning the planner or the bundle?
They're winning the planner, but I might have added 1 or 2 things to it, but I can't disclose what those are because you can win you get to take a chance to win the planner, and you should. But if you don't, you need to know how many bundles are left. There are 20 bundles left.
There are 20 bundles left.
That's not a lot. And
that's not a lot. So we have
those
10
aren't coming
names
back.
to draw.
Those are a
and
pre-order
3
special.
bundles.
Yeah.
So you have 30 opportunities to get your shit.
Because the this is what you want. This.
that's
Also,
so
these are my bays. You can't see them because of the light, but these are my bays.
We can see them.
I love those metallic bookmarks with the Simones. And look how thick she is.
I mean,
she's so pretty.
We support the thick bitch.
Yes, 100%.
And then my brain, all I heard was thick thighs, safe.
All right. I mean, and Njeri technically needs to go because it's late and she needs to go to bed because we also approve her getting ready for the excellence of relaxing tomorrow.
Yes. And you need to eat dinner. It's 9 o'clock and you're just going to eat dinner.
Yes. So, okay. People will be making friends offline. Remember to read with purpose, everybody. Thank you for participating. Tonight, we will announce the date and time of the wrap-up party. We're all going to be very pretty. We're going to dress up.
Wow.
I don't know if I'll be pretty. I don't, we'll see.
You are.
I'm joking.
Yes. You better be nice to my friend.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Bye. Happy